Yeah, okay, I see a couple of people. Hopefully, we'll have more. All right, Toshma. So now the Gemara was the Shiloh and the Gemara. Now it's a long time since we learned, so we just have to remind ourselves. The Shiloh was by the mitzvah of Ner Chanukah. Is it hadlaka or hanocha? What's the mitzvah? To light or to put it down? Now, Belina, that today we're also going to discuss a little bit about Ner Shabbos. What's the mitzvah of Ner Shabbos? To light or to put it down. So Toshma, the Gemara says, will bring a proof. Dom Rabbi Shua Rabbi Shua ben Levi said, now let's go to Chav Gimel Amud Aleph. So let's say somebody had the old type of lanterns, and it's burning the whole Shabbos. So now we're going to soon see a machlokes rishonim exactly why the person lit. Rashi learns that he lit it for the mitzvah of Chanukah. Tosfos and other rishonim know that he didn't light it for the mitzvah of Chanukah. He lit it for the mitzvah of Shabbos. So anyway, Motzi Shabbos is Chanukah, right? So Motzi Shabbos Mechabo Matlika. So Motzi Shabbos, he has to put out the lantern and relight it so that he can do the mitzvah of the Motzi Shabbos Chanukah. So now the Gemara says, let's prove from here if it's Hadlaka or Hanocha, the putting down or the lighting that makes the mitzvah. So if you hold that lighting it, that's the mitzvah. So that's why you can't just pick it up and put it down because you have to relight it l'shem mitzvah Chanukah. Eliyamer tanocha oisa mitzvah. But if you hold that putting it down is the mitzvah, hamechaba. So the ha'mechabu madlika. So when it says that you have to extinguish it and then you have to relight it, so that doesn't make sense. So Rabbi Yeshua should have said he should put it out, lift it up, and then put it down. So Rabbi Yeshua's psak seems to hold very clearly that laka oisa mitzvah. So that's one proof. The second proof is v'oid midikam v'archinon. So the Gemara says very pashto. Let's bring a raya from midikam v'archinon because we make a racha shekedishanu mitzvayse v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Chanukah. So isn't it obvious shma mino hadlaka oisa mitzvah that the mitzvah is hadlaka shma mino? So it's a little bit of a problem. The Achronim sometimes ask over here, a number of Achronim. So why didn't the Gemara say this from the beginning, that the mitzvah is the hadlaka because the bracha is the hadlaka? So it seems that the Gemara didn't want to bring a raya from the bracha, because the bracha, maybe there was a machlekes about the bracha. Maybe they made up the bracha later. They were looking back to the Chashmonaim, the original Chashmonaim, what was their kavanah when they made the mitzvah. So now the Gemara says, okay, now that we see that the mitzvah is that hadlaka, so it would seem like this, that if a child lit it, so you didn't accomplish anything. So now we'll just go into one other person, an Isha, the wife, Isha Vade Madlika, that a woman can for sure light it. Rabbi Shua ben Levi, Doshim Chayavas b'ner Chanukah, Shafein Hayu b'Oisa Nes. So that women have to light because they were also a part of the mitzvah. Now, before we go further, I just want to show you, Tosfos is very interesting. We'll just learn two quick Tosfos. The top Tosfos says that if the mitzvah was the hanacha, so you should have to pick it up and put it down also. So Tosfos says, if you hold that hanacha, it stam doesn't make sense. Why do you even have to extinguish the ner Chanukah? Just pick it up and put it down. So the hanacha is a mitzvah. The atu migara the luka uvo imedes me'adlik chesed v'katan. That's why I wanted to wait till we learn chesed v'katan. What's the difference if it was already burning? Why is that worse than chesed v'katan? Chesed v'katan doesn't count, and if it was still burning from before this man, it doesn't count. So Tosfos says v'yeshleima demari shedlika mitchilasa l'tzarich Shabbos. So Tosfos disagrees with Rashi. Rashi says that the guy lit it l'shem Chanukah, so then l'chayr should be good the next day. So Tosfos says no, he never lit it for Shem Chanukah. He lit it for Shabbos neris. It's worse. The awesome shed. Madlika b'shaita b'ita nikra davishu madlika l'shem Chanukah. Because when it was written it was lit at the time of Ner Chanukah, which is not the time of Shabbos. Shabbos you can't light. Obviously, there's no such thing as lighting the Ner Chanukah, the Ner Shabbos on Shabbos. Now, the second Taisa is also very important. It's a short Taisa. So Taisa says that if you hold that Loka Oisa Mitzvah, so then you should be able to be Madlik Miner L'ner, because it's not the Hanocha, it's the Hadloka. So after all, you are lighting, so what's the difference if you're lighting from another Ner? So Taisa says, when we call Makam, so Taisa says it's a little bit irrational that if you hold that the Hadloka Oisa Mitzvah, you should be able to light from one Chanukah Ner to the other one. But the Minig Yisrael is not to. So Lamaisa, many poskim based upon this Taisa's hold that worst comes to worst, if you don't have a shamus and you don't have a match, and the only thing you can do is to light from Ner to Ner, it would be mutter. Okay. Now, the other thing is also about Afhein Hoyu Ba'isa Nes. What does it mean they were a part of the Nes? So Rashi learns Shegazu Yevanim, the third line of Rashi. Al Kol Besulois and Esuois Liboil the Tafsat Chila. That's the beginning of the Gemara in Ksubis. That Loyolenu, the Kalas had to go to the the Greek governor or the general to Lehiboil. Nebuch, he used to take them for himself. Yad Isha Nasis Anes. And Rashi adds that the other thing is that there was Yehudah, the daughter of the Yochanan Kohen Gadol, which it's brought in a number of these Rishonim, that the Ran brings it and others, that she chopped off the general's head, and then all the Greeks ran away, so she caused the nace. So we have a very interesting kind of like a dichotomy over here, that we find, this is very again Pesach, that's why I'm bringing it up. We find that by Chanukah and by Purim was obviously Esther. It's called Megillah Esther, right? And she was the main character of the whole Megillah, and together with Mordechai, they brought about the nace. So you don't need Afein Hoyibais nace. They were in trouble. On the contrary, Esther was the biggest, the biggest source of the nace. And Chanukah also, we now learn that she was Yehudah, the daughter of Yochanan Kohen Gadol, was the source of the nace. So what about by Pesach? By Pesach, we find that women are chayavos in matzah. So why? So one opinion, Rishonim is because they got us out of Mitzrayim. But if you hold like Rashi and the Ran and others that the women had to bring about the nes, you have to say the second shot in the Gemara Psachim, which is what? And I mean, some of us are also learning Psachim now. The Ninya before Pesach is because B'schos Noshim Tzidkanius Nigal Avisenim in Mitzrayim. We got out of Mitzrayim because of the Noshim. That means Afein Oyibayis Nes by Pesach is also the same thing. That they brought about the nes. Okay, let's go further. Now, Amr of Sheshis, Achsanoi. Now, this is a new sugya. If you don't mind, I'll make a bracha. So, Achsanoi is a guest. Now, what's the chiddush of guest? So, let's just talk about this for a second. We learned in the Gemara a day or two ago that Ner Chanukah Ner Ishu Beisar. There's some kind of a din over here of a person's house, that really the original takana of the Chashmonaim, the bezin of the Chashmonaim, together with the Sanhedrin, was that you only have to light one candle. Then it eventually became what we do. Beis Shammai, Beis Hillel, 1 to 8 or 8 to 1. But in any case, that you keep lighting. The original takana was Ner Ishu Beisar. So really in Achsanoi, a guest by somebody else, L'chari doesn't have to light at all. And that's how many Rishonim hold that this is only an extra, like a Midas Chasidus or something extra, because a guy that doesn't have a house, so he doesn't have to light. But the problem is, we're not talking about a homeless guy. It's not like he's Chanukah, he's on the road. He's a traveling salesman or something. So he's traveling, got stuck, and he has to eat by somebody else. So he's an Achsanoi. But so Be'etzim, he does have a house, so he has a chiyuv. Once he has a chiyuv, he transfers the chiyuv from his house to another house. I just wanted to mention this because it ends up in a very big machlokes Rishonim and Achronim. So let's go again. Amr Rav Sheshes said, Achsanoi yichayv b'ner Chanukah, a guest by somebody else, by somebody else's house, is chayv b'ner Chanukah. Amr Reb Zera. So he said like this: Mereish ki havina beirav mishtatafna b'friti. So apparently he used to Reb Zera used to board by Rav. He was in the yeshiva in Rav's yeshiva. So it doesn't mean necessarily that he ate by Rav's house, although he might have. So how was he mechayev? How was he actually mekayim before he's mechayev? How was he mekayim the mitzvah ner Chanukah mishtatafna b'friti b'adei ushpiza? So I used to pay a few prutas. Why? Because if you pay a few pennies, it doesn't have to be a lot of money. So then you own some of the oil. If you own some of the oil, you did some of the mitzvah. However, but then I got married. Aminus, I said, so apparently he was still a guest because in the olden days, the yeshiva bachrim, they got married, they went into Kailul. Where did they go? The yeshiva was far away. So they left their wives and children. By the way, you know how long this was? I'll tell you, Pli Atzuma, through right before World War II, famous Maisa with Rabbi Chana Wasserman. I'll just tell you the story because it proves the point. Rabbi Chana Wasserman, Zechat Tzadik Kol Shvach Hashem Yikom Damai. So he got a telegram one day, very famous story, that his wife had a baby boy. So he was learning about the Chafetz Chaim in Radin, and his house was in Baranovich, which if you traveled it, Mirz Hashem, hopefully, this trip was postponed, but we'll go from Baranovich, Mirz Hashem, to, not this trip, by the way, because we're not going there, but that's in Lita. So Lithuania, Baranovich and Radin are very, very far from each other to go by the old days stagecoach. Today, it's like nothing, you hop in a bus, a car, you can be there very fast, a couple hours. It's like from here to the country. But in those days, it was a very long trip by horse. So he came to the Chafetz Chaim. He told him, my wife had a baby boy, so I'm going to the bris. So he told the Chafetz Chaim, goodbye, I'll be traveling to the bris. So the Chafetz Chaim said to him, Elchanan, are you a male? Now, I'm not sure what I would have answered. You can tell me what you would have answered, but I don't think I would have been medayik that means I shouldn't go to the bris. But Rabbi Chanan understood from the Chafetz Chaim, who says he has to go to the bris. He has to send the mayil, some kind of like, we're going to sell the chametz, by proxy, a surrogate. He'll make him into a shliach who says, and he didn't go to the bris. Right? Pillar plane. So you see that in the olden days, even married guys in Kailul were very far from their wives. They mamish came home very rarely. That's all I wanted to prove, because you see from Reb Zera said again, I'll say the words again. So in the beginning, when I was a bacher, so I paid some prutas. So busted in the Siva Itzi, but after I got married, I said, I don't even have to pay anything. Why? Because since the mitzvah is ner ishu beisai, and my house is going to have adlakas neiros, so he held his yaitza, and apparently he didn't even have to light Chanukah neiros. Now today, whoever's on the road does light. Guys in, I was going to say in China. Nobody wants to go to China. So, but let's say guys in India, he lights in his hotel room. So he lights. Many places come out, it's not even for the passers-by. It's just for ourselves. Even if a guy is all alone in a hotel, the halacha is he should light with a bracha. So anyway, so he said, since they're being madlik in my house, he meant either his wife is being madlik or he has an older son that's being madlik, he's yaitze. Okay, let's go weiter. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, kol hashmanim kulan yafin in there. All the oils are okay for Chanukah. B'shem and zayis min hamufchar. But the best oil is olive oil, because we're trying to imitate, to approximate the Bais HaMikdash. The Bais HaMikdash, the pasuk was the beginning of Tetzaveh, and Ba'alaischa that we use Shem and Zayis Zoch. So Rabbi said, so my Rebbe, who was Rabbi Bar Nachmani, used to go to look for sesame seed oil, because that's the best, it burns the best. Because the oil makes the light last longer. So now, by the way, from here, some Paiskin Paskin, that the longer you have, like some people have these huge menorahs, and they hold a lot of oil, it burns kemat like the next day. Like the one in the shul, Halavai, we'll get to use it in Mitzvah Hashem next Chanukah. Maybe she should help. So the one in the shul very often burns overnight until the next morning, and they I don't even know what they do. They leave it alone sometimes. Sometimes they extinguish it, they relight it. So is that an inyan? So it seems from the way that Abaya said it over. So he said, what's the mila of sesame? He said, "Hi, mashach nahayrat fei," because it lasts longer. So it seems that the longer you last, not just a half an hour, but hours, is better. So, however, he said like this:
every minute, the mitzvah is greater every minute. It's not like
once
you pass the half hour, you're good to go.
Yeah. Now, the emphasis is the Chazon Ish. You should know. Yitzi's asking a good question. The Chazon Ish used to extinguish it after half an hour. Chazon Ish was pretty firm, right? But he used to extinguish it after half an hour. He didn't hold like this. But the Paiskim that I'm quoting all held that you can bring a riot from Reb Zera. You have to, the longer the better. Now, Chim de Shamallah Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, but once he heard this psak of Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, Mahada Mishcha Dezeisa. So he looked for olive oil, Amra Heitzlil no Heiritfei, because it makes a nicer light. So in other words, between having a nicer light we all know that depends on what you use. You get a pure, beautiful light. So that's more important than having it burn longer with a not such nice light. So that was one thing Rabbi Shua ben Levi said. From Rabbi Shua ben Levi, he said also, Kol hashmanim yafun l'diyo. So now while we're talking about what's the mile of Shem and Zayis, so all the other ones are also good to make black ink. Shem and Zayis ben amufcha, Shem and Zayis is the best. Ibailu leyes the shaila, because when you make the black ink, so you have to do two things. You have to actually you have to knead the schmutz, the black schmutz from the blackness that makes the black ink. So when you knead it, is it shot? That's where olive oil is better, or oil ashen, or is it for the smoke? Because they used to use a glass like a kli, a glass cup or a glass beaker, a canister, one of those things, and they used to smoke it, and from that smoke they made the black stuff, and the black stuff you made the ink. So Gemara Shiloh was which is it? Tashma, the Gemara says we'll bring a proof from the Tani Reb Shmuel Bar Zutri. Kol hashmanim yafim l'diyo says all the oils are good for ink. V'shem and zayis min hamufcha, and the best thing is for shem and zayis you should use olive oil. Legabel, the Gemara says ben legabel ben la'ashen. So anyway, so the ikar is it's both. It's not just one. It's to knead it and also to smoke it. Now, that was, you have to be careful over here, Rav Shmuel Bar Zutri. Now the Gemara brings very similar, Rav Shmuel Bar Zutra, Masni Hochi. He said different. Kol Hashonim said all the things that make smoke. So which oils make smoke? Any oil makes smoke. Yofun L'jo, it's all good for the ink. V'shem and Zayis, but the best thing is Shem and Zayis. Rav Huna, by the way, why is this Gemara brings us, well, who cares about black ink? The teretz is, because when you're doing a mitzvah of writing a sefer Torah, it's filling a mezuzah. So there's a mitzvah of, the Gemara says in Shabbos, we'll have it a little bit later on, of Kuflam and Hey, Kuflam and Vav, around there. The Gemara says that there's a mitzvah of Hidur mitzvah to make a beautiful sefer Torah, it's filling a mezuzah. So the nicer the ink, the better the mitzvah. So that's what we're talking about, not only for the Shem and Zayis for the menorah, but also Shem and Zayis that you use to make the ink. So he says, when you have the sap from the tree, that's called sruf. We say it in the Bamem Adlikin. We just said it. We learned it. So or sruf, ktaf yofim ikulam. But when it comes out of, it's called noitef me'atzeh ktaf, if you remember. So a ktaf tree is called a blackthorn tree. I'm not sure exactly which tree that is today, but it's called a blackthorn. Now, Omar Rav Chia bar Ashi said, now we're going to go into the brachas. So a person that lights the Ner Chanukah has to make a bracha. Even somebody that sees the Ner Chanukah has to make a bracha. So very quick question: why don't any of us make a bracha today when we see a Ner Chanukah? It's Beferish Gemara. So the Rogatchover says a tremendous chiddush. The Tzafnas Paneach. He says that Haraya was a din in the Milchama. You see that the Ner Chanukah is burning and remind you that we won the war. It says today, we're not really celebrating the winning of the war. We're celebrating the mitzvah of Ner Chanukah because it burned for 8 days. Big chiddush. Most places can disagree with him, but that's what Tzafnas Paneach says. And therefore, since Butler and Megillas Tainus, remember we had this about a week ago, there's a thing called Megillas Tainus that listed all the wars that we won, and therefore we're celebrating them. So Hanukkah, for instance, also celebrates the war against the Yevanim. He said we don't celebrate that anymore, because Butler Megillas Tainus. Today we only celebrate the miracle of the Neiris. Mamish, big, unbelievable chiddush. Now, Gemara continues on Rabbi Yehudah, Yom Rishon Haroy V'Varach Shtayim, on the first day of Chanukah, so if somebody only sees the menorah, so he makes 2 brachas, and he doesn't make a bracha lahadlik because there's no lahadlik, it's Sha'as Nisam Lavaseinu and Shechiyonu. Umadlik Mavarach Shalosh. But if you're actually being madlik, you also say lahadlik Neshul Chanukah. But every other night, madlik Mavarach Shtayim, the one that makes a bracha because he's lighting, makes 2 brachas, Sha'as Nisam, mad lahadlik Neshul Chanukah, and Sha'as Nisim, but not Shechiyanu. V'royim Mevarach Achas. But the one that only sees it doesn't make any Shechiyanus anymore. After the first night, nobody makes the Shechiyanu. He only makes Sha'as Nisim Lavisem. Mar says, my Mamayit, So when you're lighting, so we said that you're dropping one bracha. Which bracha do you drop? Versus Mamayazman, you don't make the bracha shechiyanu because you made the bracha once already. Versus Ivan the Mayat Nes. Why don't you drop the bracha Shas and Nisim? So Morah says Nes Kol Yom Meisa. Morah says every one of the 8 days was a different miracle. There could have been a Nes. It would have burnt only for 2 days, only for 3 days. So every single night there's a new Nes. Okay, now the Gemara says, "My mevarich." What's the full bracha? Verse mevarich hashekadishon b'tzoysev tzivanu ladikner shel Chanukah. Hechad tzivanu. So now the Gemara asks the kasha. So where were we commanded? What do you mean commanded? This is a derabbanan. So we don't have the time right now, but this is a major machlekes over here between the Rambam and the Ramban. Rabbi Chana Wasserman has a whole sefer on this that a mitzvah derabbanan. Really, we shouldn't say tzivanu, because tzivanu means midairaisa. So how can we make a bracha tzivanu on a derabbanan? So Gemara is going to answer. So I just want to tell you a quick mimer from my Rabbi. It says in this form also. Why is this bedafke Masechta Shabbos Perikvam Madlikin about Chanukah? So we're holding before Pesach. Nobody's so interested in all the Yonim of Chanukah, but there's one thing about Chanukah. Chanukah, they try to destroy our connection to the Torah. So here we're stressing that by Chanukah, why do we say Tzivanu? Then we say every bracha, which is a Rabban, is Tzivanu. For instance, I said Tzivanu on Mikra Megillah, right? Megillah Esther. So why over there the Gemara doesn't ask this? Gemara asks once, how could you say Tzivanu on the Rabbanim? So B'dafka by Chanukah, they tried to destroy, the Yevanim tried to destroy our adherence to the Torah, Torah Shebiksav and Torah Shebal Peh. So we say, where were we commanded? Here's the answer. Hechan Sivanus, it's a machlekes. Rav Avya Amami Loisasur. Because Loisasur means, it says in the Torah, Loisasur Mikoil Asher Yerucha. You shouldn't depart, or you shouldn't digress. It means just drop this aveira. It's an aveira. You shouldn't do this aveira of not listening to the chachamim. So since the chachamim made up a mitzvah called Ner Chanukah, so you shouldn't just say, it's only those rabbis, because the Torah said we should listen to rabbis. Where did the Torah say you should listen to the rabbanim? That's one opinion. What's the second opinion? So that was a negative. Now notice what's happening. That was a negative, like a lav, which ends up in ratifying all the rabbanans. Now, Reb Nechemia says, there's another Rabbanan, which is the positive, which it says that you should do all the Rabbanans. So again, one of these days, it would be a good thing to learn. I was thinking what I should do, Shabbos HaGadol. I don't know if Shabbos HaGadol, we're all going to still be separate, it looks like. So I'm giving like a sort of a virtual Shabbos HaGadol drush. I was thinking of doing this, but not everybody's holding a Daf Yomi, so I figured it wouldn't be so interesting. Although it has some connection to, for instance, we make a bracha on B'dikas Chametz. So by B'dikas Chametz, we say also Tzivanu, and most places can hold that it's only the Rabbanan at that point, because we're really not doing the mitzvah right then, we're doing the mitzvah the next day, first of all. Second of all, we sold our Chametz already, so we got rid of our Chametz. So the B'dikas Chametz at that point is only the Rabbanan. So where do we have a bracha de Rabbanan? So these two opinions, either leisasur or she'alach v'yichav yaged chazekeinechav yarmelach. That's not what's important.
Rabbi, what about halal?
What about halal? Halal is also the same thing.
It's not
right. Very good. Sometimes halal is a deraisa. Sometimes halal is a derabbanan. For instance, the halal of Yom Tov Sheni is a derabbanan. The halal of Rosh Chodesh is derabbanan. The halal of Yom Tov is a deraisa. So there's no problem with that bracha. Yeah. But I just want to mention one thing. Very interesting machlekes, the Rambam and the Ramban over here. The Rambam and the Ramban is a machlekes. What does this pasuk tell us? Does the pasuk only tell us you have to listen to the Rabbanan? Or no? Every Rabbanan automatically becomes a Dairaisa. So Rabbi Chana Wasserman has, I don't know if you have it at home, it's hard to get in your sefer now, but if you have the Rabbi Chana Wasserman Kaibet Shiurim Chelik Bais. So in Chelik Bais, there's a section called Kuntras Divrei Seifrim. Divrei Seifrim means the Rabbanans. So he has this, he explains, I'm telling you literally for 50, 60 pages, he explains all aspects from every side. It's Mamashon's most brilliant Svarim in the Achronim about the Rabbanans, and then afterwards everybody, jumps on Rabbi Chanan, right, wrong, they disagree, but the Rabbi Chanan is really the asod of this discussion. So anyway, let's go back to the Gemara. So it says like this, that So we said that there's two mitzvahs. There's the mitzvah of loisosim mikol shiruch and shalav yichav yagetcha. So now the Gemara says, Masav Rav Amram Mesakasha. So hadmai. So it sounds like that every derabanan you make a bracha. Where it says hadmai, when it comes to demai, what's demai? Demai means that you're not sure if an amaretz you brought some fruit or grains from an amaretz, an ignorant person, and you're not sure if he took off trumas or maestris. So hadmai ma'arvin boy, you can make an eruv with it. In other words, an eruv chatzeris, you need some kind of like when we make an eruv chatzeris, we usually use matzah or something like that because it lasts. Umishtatzvin boy. So there's two types of eruvin. There's an eruv chatzeris, that's and then there's also you can make an eruv of mevois, shitufay mevois, umishtatzvim boy. That's shitufay mevois, umavrachim olav umezamnim olav, and you can make amaitzi. That's one shita. The other shita is that we're talking about benching. If you look at the Tosfos Yishanim. Everybody should have a Tosfos Yishanim. Tosfos Yishanim is right only the Gilyon Hashas, and the Gilyon Hashas says Mevorchim Hainu Birchas Hamazon. So he learns that Mevorchim and Mezamnin Lov means what? Mevorchim Lov means benching, and Mezamnin Lov means you can make a mezumin over it. So umafrish noise orum uben hashmoshes. Now let's say a person is somehow in a crazy way, he's coming out of the mikveh, and he decides that he's going to take off maestris. He's not dressed properly. So he's allowed to be mafreshit, uben hashmoshes, and he can even do it Friday night right before Shabbos, but after Shkia. So here's the shaila. The iyamrit called midrabanan by bracha. So we just said all the rabbanos you make a bracha. So hacha kikayi arum. So if the guy's not dressed, hechem mevarach. So how can you make a bracha? V'abina b'yamachanecha kadosh v'leka. You have to be in a holy position when you're making a bracha, and this guy's not looking holy; he's undressed. Amar Abaye said, "Vadai the divrayim by bracha." When there's for sure a derabanan, so you make a bracha. But suffix the divrayim by bracha. The whole pshat into my is that we don't know. Are you mechuyev or you're not mechuyev? So then you don't go making brachas. Even the derabanan didn't make you make a bracha on a suffix. Now the Gemara asks the question is, by Yom Tisheni, the suffix, the divrayim hu by bracha. So we just mentioned before, and it was an answer to Yetzi's shaila, that the halal of Yom Tisheni is only the rabbanon, and Bechlal Yom Tisheni is only the rabbanon. It's fake the yoma, and yet we all make a bracha on kiddush, and the ladies make a bracha. Shekhin Hashem says, "Zvano al lahadlik, ner Yom Tov." So how come we're making all these brachas? Mar says, no, this is a very big yisaid, Rabbi. It's mostly the Gemara in Beya, but we'll have it soon when we get up to Beya. This to Rabbanan is like this. If we would treat Yom Tov Sheni very cavalierly, very disrespectfully, no bracha. So, after a little while, we'd start being over under Rabbanans. After a little while, we'd be over under Isis. And very soon, like the conservatives and the Lahavdil, the reform, even worse, they would drop Yom Tov Sheni. Big deal. So in order to ratify, certify, and strengthen Yom Tov Sheni, so the Chachamim said, it's not going to be a bracha levatala. Pilla ploim, right? Okay, now. So Rava said a different shot. Rava said, that means why don't we make a bracha? Because even though we're talking about amaratzim, and most amaratzim we thought are not knowledgeable, but they do take off trumas and maestros. Now we had this a couple of times already. Rabbi said, if you remember, that the old amaratzim in the time of the Gemara, there were a lot of things they didn't do, but they were never over on trumas and maestros. For some reason, that was like a frumma thing by them. Okay, let's go further. Amravuna chatzah shnei psachim. Now let's say you have like this. You have a courtyard where a person has two doors in the courtyard. There's all machlekas rishonim exactly where the doors are. Are the doors from his house into the courtyard, or from the courtyard into the Rosh Hashanah? I'm just going to learn right now. Pashim Shat. Two doors. So they used to light by their door. By the way, which is where all the Hasidic Rebbes in Eretz Yisrael these days light by the door, not by the window. So you have to have one for each doorway. So and Amar Rava said, Amara and Ella Mishtei Ruchos. So this is only if it's from two different sides. In other words, north and south. But you don't have to worry if they're all on the north or they're all on the south, because people will see. The whole problem over here was, as we'll see, I mentioned it yesterday, Chashad or Marasayan. The Gemara is going to explain. My time of why. If it's because people will suspect him. So Chashad, who's going to be suspecting? if we're talking about outside people, let's even if there's two doors, but the two doors are separated by a couple of feet, so somebody might see one foot, he might not see the other one. So, but if we're talking about people of the town, so then you shouldn't even have to light on both sides. Why? Because people will know that somebody's home and they lit, because the people of the town, they know somebody's home and they light on the right or they light on the left. So Morah answers, really, we're worried about the townspeople. They're going to see that you didn't light. Because could be they'll walk by one door where you didn't light, and they won't walk by the other door where you did light. But they're going to be chayshid you. They're going to say, just like the guy didn't light over here. So now the Mepharshim explain. I just want to tell you a very important halacha, which is negay a whole year, and especially now we're trying to work on our ben adam l'chaveiros. Explain to you, Mitzvah Hashem, another time why, but we're working hopefully on ben adam l'chaveiros. So there's a mitzvah, a dairaisa called mitzedek tishbat amisecha, which means have a donis kala adam l'kav zechus. You should never be chayshit somebody of anything. Guy did something that looked terrible, you try to explain it away as best as you can. So that's mitzad us, that we should be chayshit somebody else. But mitzad ourselves as well, we should never do something that would be ma'ayruch chashad, like over here. So in pure halacha, you have to light the back of your house and the front of your house. So how come bisman as though we don't do it? So there's many reasons. We'll see like this in the end of the Gemara, and then we'll discuss it tomorrow also. Now, I'm trying to put it all into 45 minutes. How do we know that we're worried about this? How come Peah is only at the end of the field? Why, Peah you have to cut off, not cut off really, but you have to cordon off the end of your field and give it to the poor and don't cut it. So the first is Gezel Aniyim, because what might happen is that a person is going to see that he's able to take this away from the Aniyim, and we'll soon see in a minute, he could give it to his cousin. His cousin's a poor guy. His brother-in-law is a poor guy. They bitl Aniyim, and because the Aniyim, they know that somebody's going to beat them to the punch. So they're always sitting around waiting to see when you're going to leave the payah so they can come in and eat that. Now is why the Gemara brings it, because people will be suspicious that if you didn't take off from a certain special place, which is the four corners, so then what's going to happen is payah is the corner. So then they're never going to know from where you took, or you took off from the middle of your field. You got like acres and acres. People won't see that you took off, and they'll be chayshid you. And also, the Gemara says, because you shouldn't finish it off. What does that mean? So now the Gemara is going to explain each one. What are we worried about? So he's going to see that there's no aniyam around from the outside. He's going to call his cousin, like I said before. So Arezu Peya is going to say, so, here's your Peya, and there's nobody else around, you get it. Let's go to Amid Bais now. Now Gemara says, what does bitlani mean? So they're always going to have to sit around doing nothing, because they're going to say, we don't know when the guy's going to take off payers. So we better sort of just, basically like a squat over here and wait. What's chashad? Because people that pass by, they'll say, they're going to curse us, and they're going to say, may a curse come upon the person that didn't take off payah. And what does that mean? Because the payah has to be left over at the end of the harvest, and if you didn't do it, so people are going to say they didn't leave off. Isn't it all that you're not allowed to finish off the field? You're not allowed to harvest the whole field. You always have to leave the corners. Mar says, because of the people that will do tricks. So Rashi explains, if you take a look at Rashi says, so that the farmers shouldn't claim that they took off payah, right, in the middle of the harvest season, not at the end. And then they weren't over about the challah. So we're worried about cheaters and counterfeiters, people that are not they're just not honest. So Rav said because of these guys. Now let's go back to the Gemara. Now the Gemara says, what kinds of how are you yaitza? What kind of menorah do you have to be yaitza for Chanukah? Amr v'yisabar difam Rav Huna neshi yesh lo shnei piyos. Let's say you have in the old days they were very poor and they didn't have a Chanukah menorah like we have with mamish 8 separate lamps. So let's say you have one ner sheyesh lo shnei piyos. It has 2 openings on different sides. So oilo shnei b'nei adam. 2 people can light in one menorah. That's for the first night. For ner ishu beisai, for the basic mitzvah. Amar Rava said, Mila kar Hashem ve'kika psilos. Let's say that you have a plate, like a big plate, and you filled it up with floating oil wicks. So l'chayra, he says, so if you put a kli on it, means like a cover with holes in it, and through each hole you put one wick through it. So then you can be oil l'kama b'nei adam. Many people, you don't have to have a menorah of your own. Every person can light one wick the first night. He's yaitza. So, but let's say you have a plate that makes a big fire, like we sometimes have by our havdalah. It's not even good enough for one person. So I'm a Rabbi. Rabbi said like this: Pshita. It's pashut to me. Ner Bais over ner Chanukah. If you don't have enough money, but people were very poor to light Shabbos neros and ner Chanukah, ner Bais adif. So the light from your house is better. It's more important mishum shalom Bais, because one of the reasons for lighting the Shabbos neros for when we send licht is because there should be a light in the house. People will trip over each other and they're going to get into fights. There won't be shalom Bais. Even husband and wife. Ner Bais v'kiddush hayoim. What if you have enough for a candle and for kiddush? Same thing. Ner Bais adam shalom Bais. Shalom Bais wins above all. Now the Gemara says, what about by Rava? Ner Chanukah v'kiddush hayoim. What about Chanukah versus kiddush mal? Kiddush hayoim ativ the tadir, because we make kiddush more often. Kiddush we make like 50 plus, Shabbosim in the year. But Chanukah is only 8 days. Doing ner Chanukah adif, well, maybe no. Ner Chanukah is more important. Why is it more important? Mishum presuming nisa. So by the way, we see from over here, this is going to be Negeya, Mirz Hashem, Arba Kaisis. In a couple of days, we'll be doing it. In a couple of days, we'll be talking about it. The Arba Kaisis are also for presuming Nisa. So there are Paiskim that talk about a very interesting concept that even though matzah is very important, but matzah is not presuming Nisa, strangely enough. Why not? We don't have time now, but the Arba Kaisis is. So there are Paiskim, we'll get into it later in the week because it's in our Gemara also, that the Arba Kaisis have a certain prioritization over even Matzah and Mar. Okay, anyway, let's go further. So after Rav asked the Shaila Hoda Pashta, he resolved it. Chanukah is more important than their Shabbos. So their Shabbos, some say, could even be a Deraisa. Now we pass it's not a Deraisa. Okay, Amar Avuna, Haragul B'Neir, this is very important for all of us, Bais Hashem Yisbarach, Haragul B'Neir Havan Leibonim Talmidei Chachamim. If a person is lights regularly, he's going to have children, boys, that are going to be Talmidei Chachamim. So, why? So the Mefarshim say because Ner mitzvah v'Torah, or Ner represents Torah, and that way you'll have children that are Talmidei Chacham. Now, Ragil means something you do a lot. So the children will see, and children, it's like, as we all know, children learn from what we do as parents, not what we say. Hazor b'mezuzah, so in each case, what you're careful about, by mezuzah doesn't say ragil, because we don't put up a mezuzah every day, most Mefarshim learn. Hazor b'mezuzah, zech l'dirana, you'll get a nice house. So in each case, the reward, the schar, is midah keneged midah for the mitzvah. Hazor b'tzitzis, if you are very careful about your mitzvah, tzitzis and talus, zech talus, no, you'll get a nice garment. Talus over here doesn't mean a talus with tzitzis. It means you'll get a nice suit, etc. Azor be kiddush hayoim. If somebody's very careful about making kiddush properly, zechul maru agar ve'yayin. So he'll have a lot of wine. Now Rav Huna avi ragol davi cholav v'tani apischa. So the Rabbi Oven Nagara. So Rav Huna used to go by the doorway of Rabbi Oven, who was apparently not one of the Rabbanan. He was a chashuv person, but he was only a carpenter. I shouldn't say only because, like some of the Amoraim and Tanaim, they had real jobs. So Chazan Avi Ragul Shragetuva, so he saw that he used to light many neiros, Shabbos and Chanukah. Amar, so he said, Trey Gavri Ravravi Nafke Mehacha. So he predicted that he's going to have 2 great sons. Who are those 2 great sons? Nafke Mehacha Rav Idi Baravin, Rav Chi Baravin. We've all heard about these 2 Amoraim. So it seems like their father Be'etzim was not born of the Amoraim, but he was zoicha to two mamish Amoraim. Okay. Now another writer of Chisda Birogel Davicholif Vitania Pischa. So he used to go by the house of the Beinasha de Rav Shizvi. Now the big machlokes over here, what this means. So the Pashut Pshat is used to go by the women's house. So, but over here, many of the Mefarshim they write that this is Nasha is really not women over here; it's his father's house, Rav Shizvi's father's house. So I'll tell you in a minute what's very negay over here. So he saw that he lit a lot of neiros. So Amar Gavra Rabba Nafuk Mihach, he said somebody very great will come out of this family. Nafuk Mina Rav Shizbi. Rav Taka Rav Shizbi came out of there. Now, if you ever saw in a ksuba, everybody gets to read the ksuba once in a while. So I don't know if he's on, but you can ask Avram Zalmanowitz. He also got to read a ksuba recently, not just Rabbanim. So if the Kala's father is alive, it says Mibei Abua, the money for the nadin, for the dowry, comes from the father. But loyalain, if there's no father, so you have to write in mibei nasha. Now, some people leave it out, but based upon this Gemara, so it says that many Rishonim hold over here that Rav Shizbi's father was gone already, and his mother was alive. The Beinasha de Rav Shizbi meant Rav Shizbi's mother's house. So when there's a mother, you write Beinasha. And that's the minig, by the way, by those that write ksubas, the Masadi Kedushin. Now, to visit Rav Yosef, so it's a very big chiddush. Rav Yosef's wife used to light very, very late, right before Shabbos. So she didn't light like the mamish, the minute of Shkia Chas Shalom. The first one will say she only ate it a minute or two for Tosefes Shabbos. So Amal Rav Yosef said to her, "No, you're doing the wrong thing." Tanya, it says in the Brisa, Layomush. Amud Ha'on and Yoimah Amud Eish Laila. So it says when Klal Yisrael followed. In other words, she was medayik like this in this brisa. She was an isha bas Talmid Chacham, Eishes Talmid Chacham, and isha chashuva. So she learned the brisa as follows: we had at night an Amud Eish that led us, and by day we had an Amud Onan, a cloud. So it says the pasuk, the pillar of cloud was not taken away, and the pillar of fire was not taken away. What does it teach us? That they overlapped each other. What does that mean? That the Amud Ha'onan didn't go away until the Amud Ha'esh came. The Amud Ha'esh at the end of the night did not go away until the Amud Ha'onan came. So they overlapped each other. So Mamela Rav Yosef told his wife that you should light the Shabbos lights a little bit earlier. So Savra, what did she hold? Lagduna, so she wanted to light. Oh, if that's the case, I'll light much earlier in the day, apparently before Plag. Amalahu Saba. So according to many Rishonim, this means Eliyahu Hanavi, she had Gilu Eliyahu. She was a big tzaddikus. She saw Eliyahu Hanavi. Others say it was some an old person, but a chacham. But many Rishonim hold it was Eliyahu Hanavi. Amalahu Saba Tanina. So we learned you can't light too early, you can't light too late. So this is the way we do tell our women. And the last couple of now these two Shabbosim, so many Gedol Yisrael in Eretz Yisrael were suggesting we're missing so much. We're missing our shuls, and we're missing Tefillah B'Tzibur, we're missing here in Kriyas HaTorah, etc. I don't want to, insult to injury. We're missing so much. So what should we do? So one of the things that we should do is we should light Shabbos candles early, and we should start Shabbos a few minutes early. So, but what this Gemara said was not too early, not too late. So you're not allowed to light earlier than Plag. So it seems from some Rishonim that she wanted to light earlier than Plag. She wanted to be. You see that, remember, she had Gili Elio, so she wanted to do the right thing. When somebody told her to give 5 cents, she gave 20 cents. So he said light early, she was going to light in the morning or something. So there's a Zaman, what's the earliest, and there's a Zaman, what's the latest, which is a couple of minutes to Shkia. So we have, again, an hour minhagim is mostly about 18 or 20 minutes to Shkia, and then in Eretz Yisrael, they light much earlier, about 40 to 90 minutes before Shkia, and these days, everybody's saying, not 18 minutes, like at least a half an hour, 40 minutes, etc. These Shabbosim. And I would suggest also, if possible, that that's what we should do until we're out of this Magefa Be'ezus Hashem Yisbarach. Okay, let's go Levite. We're going to have a couple of very nice things over here, how we can have wonderful families. Amar Rava Derachim Rabbanon, somebody that loves Torah, Talmidei Chachamim, have a Libanon Rabbanon, still have children that are Talmidei Chachamim. The Micah Rabbanon, but a person that gives covet to Talmidei Chachamim, so have a Chasan Tvasa Rabbanon. Now over here, the Gra changes this whole Girsa in the Gemara. So I just want to show you. The Micah, if you look at Agoyis Agra, the Tzarech Lum, the dachum rabbanon. How are you going to get children that are rabbanon? You have yira from rabbanon. Because Ma'ikir, if you give them covet, that means that you have yira for them. We're not saying love. So if you want to have children that are rabbanon, that's what you're going to do. Now then, what's the next one? The Ma'ikir rabbanon, rabbanon. But when our Gemara says Ma'ikir, I want to learn it both ways. Ma'ikir rabbanon means somebody who honors the Gemara says no means somebody who fears. So he'll be zeicha that he'll have sons-in-law. See, by the way, you see many families that the sons are okay, but the sons-in-law, like you see many yeshivas, people say it's nepotism, but I know in a number of yeshivas, I can't mention names, I'm going to embarrass everybody, but in many yeshivas, the sons were not zoicha to be the Rosh Yeshivas. The Rosh Yeshiva knew that his son is a great guy, but he's going to become the executive director or something like that, and his son-in-law or sons-in-law become the Rosh Yeshivas. So sometimes it goes over to the Rosh Yeshiva. They say it's based upon this gra. Okay, anyway, you can figure it out. Now, Vilavar Hochi, but let's say that a person himself can't become a Talmid Chacham. He just doesn't have the head for it or the time for it. But he will be respected as if he's a Talmid Chacham. We find this many places also. There were, and again, I'm not going to mention names, there were famous Balabatim who were, I know I'm going to drop over if you don't mind, Rabbi, so we'll just finish up. They were famous Balabatim that Klal Yisrael accepted them as if they were Gedolim. So then they got like a title. Some of them were called Morenu, Morenu. Then there's a title by the Yekes, Chaver, Hechaver. So Chaver doesn't mean necessarily big Talmid Chacham. It means he's a great guy. He's the Rosh HaKol, is the leader of, and there were many leaders. I don't want to say names. It sounds like, I'm going to be knocking them, Chas v'shalom. They weren't Talmidei Chachamim. But many of them were not Gedolim. They sat and learned a little bit, but they were accepted. Their word was like Das Torah. Okay, let's finish off. So now, the Mishnah said that you can't light with Shem and Sreifa. My Shem and Sreifa, what is Shem and Sreifa? Amar Rabba, Shem and Shel Truma Shenitma. If it became Truma, became Tama, you have to burn it. I by my Karla Shem and Sreifa, the oil of Sreifa, Oimit. You're supposed to burn it. So it says, there's Shabbos, my time, Eloi, how come you can't use it on Shabbos? Since you have to burn it, so we're afraid that Friday night, so you're going to have to burn it, so you're going to tilt it. So just like Friday night, you're not allowed to learn by candlelight, because it might tilt it to make a better light. So here we're afraid. The Rishonim said it's a chashash rachik. It's a very far-fetched thing, but we're afraid that you're going to want it to burn faster. Oh yeah, I got to burn this truma. So you're going to tilt it. You're going to forget that it's Shabbos. So now the Gemara says, Amalei Abaya. So Abaya said to Rabba, Elamiyata b'yontov lishteri rather. So if on Yom Tov, we're not worried about tilting it. You're allowed to burn a candle on Yom Tov. Aloma Tanan, Madlikim b'Shem Esreifa b'Yom Tov. So how come you can't burn Shem Esreifa on Yom Tov? So Gemara says, Rabbi answered, Gzer b'Yom Tov to Shabbos. People are going to mix up Yom Tov and Shabbos. Now, Rav Chisda Amar l'shema yatil loy chashina. He disagrees with the whole thing. We're not really worried that we're going to tilt. Elocha b'yom tov shechal erev Shabbos askina. Yom Tov falls out on Shabbos. So lefi shein tzarfim kachim b'yom tov, because you're not really allowed to burn truma oil on Yom Tov either, because it's not for eichel nefesh. So since you can't really burn on Yom Tov, so we're afraid. Now the Gemara says, how could you say the Rav Chisda? Miktani Sefer, in the Sefer the Mishnah says, "Ein madlikim Hashem Esreifa b'Yom Tov, michlal d'reisha la b'Yom Tov askin." It's mashma the reisha, and it's not talking about Yom Tov. The Gemara says, "No." Rav Chanina Misura, Rav Chanina from Surah said, "Matam ka'amar." It's explaining like this. What's the reason? Matam ein madlikim Hashem Esreifa b'Yom Tov. Why can't you light Shem Esreifa on Yom Tov? The fein Shem Esreifa from Kodshim b'Yom Tov, because you're not allowed to burn Kodshim on Yom Tov. The only thing you're allowed to do on Yom Tov is, as I said before, is for Eichel Nefesh. Let's just finish off the sugya. It goes till the two dots. So Gemara says, Tani Kavas to Rav Chisda. We'll bring a proof to Rav Chisda. Kol elu shomru. What do we say in the Brisa? Kol elu shomru madlikim ben b'Shabbos, madlikim ben b'Yom Tov. Says the oils and the wicks that you can't use on Shabbos, you can use them on Yom Tov. Chutz m'Shem and Sreifa, except for Shem and Sreifa. V'shein Sreifa from Kachim b'Yom Tov. So that proves the point. So if you have a minute, I know some people, they go to do something else right away. I understand. Please don't worry about it. But I just wanted to speak out, just a drop of halacha over here, what we learn out. So, so we learned the Taisvas before, so I don't have to learn those Taisvas in. I'm going to skip that. I marked off a couple of things that I wanted to tell you. So how come Bisman Hazeh women don't light Chanukah Neiros? Now, in some families they do, but the minute you saw for the last couple of thousand years literally is that women don't light. So the shaila is why. The Gemara said by us is that women light. Sounds from the Gemara. So there's a few very interesting reasons in Paiskim. The Elyo Rabbi writes, "She'ishtal shalodom nechshavas kegufa." What we call ishta kegufa. If I'm lighting, it's as if my wife lit. The Har Tzvi, that's what Tzvi Pesach Frank, the Rav of Yushalayim, writes that he says because that's only, he says that doesn't work because he says that's only a married woman that ishta kegufay. So you need another reason because what about our daughters? Not married, not all married. Some of them are married, obviously. So then there's another reason. Some Sefer says a chiddush. Listen to this unbelievable thing. You know, I wanted to finish off with this because we're all indoors. So he says, because Ner Chanukah originally was Subachot. Listen to this line from the Chassam Sofer. Chassam Sofer says, Ein derech isho lamoid bachutz kol kvuda basmelach penima. It's a pasuk until memhei that women don't go out. So, like Bisman Hazeh, you know, none of us are going out over here in these incredible times. So the women, you know, let's say there's a shiloh now. Let's say somebody has to run out. So maybe we should go out more than the women because the Chachamim originally made a takana that the place of a woman is at home. It's not a knock. It's not derogatory. It's not pejorative. Chas v'shalom. It's that kvuda basmelach panim. Tznius means that the woman is at home. Now our women are out there. They do go out, but we have to understand that it's only when necessary. But be'etzim, the place of a woman is to be the bulwark, the power in the home, not just the cook and the baker, but you know the koyach and the kedusha of the Bais.
Even when we're home.
What do you mean? Even when we're home? Well, yeah, even when we're home. Yeah. We bring something too. I hope we bring something. But yeah, el chanami. But the kedusha and the tznius of the house is from the woman. Okay.
All right.
Rabbi says, two
cooks in the kitchen now.
Yeah. There's too many cooks in the kitchen. I'm sure the wives have said it, but okay. All right, David should open Mirz Hashem. We should be back where we're supposed to be. Rabbi said, us in the Beis HaMedrash, them at home, Mirz Hashem.
Tomorrow morning?
Oh no. So this whole week I'm doing 7:30. I'm sorry, I can't do.
Okay.
I'm having just we have a few chaylim in the house, and it's very disruptive when I get up and I'm doing this. The whole house has to get up, and I just can't do it to them. I'm sorry. Mirz Hashem will have refuahs for Yeshuas, so we'll do mornings again, or hopefully we'll be back at our place in our little Beis Medrash in Shul. Okay.